G'day guys, here's a nice little slope soarer I built out of balsa wood. It is called the SilverHawk, nice little name for it. That's actually from a TV show years ago. So we got balsa covered construction and little pod and boom setup, elevator control, no rudder, you don't need that for a slope, just bank and yank. Single servo ailerons, just to make it a little bit lighter, gives all your throw you need. And yeah, so it's covered, this fuselage is covered in fiberglass, because that was, if it gets hit from those harsh landings on a slope, doesn't matter as much. Nice stiff wing, got a carbon spar in the middle up to about here. That really helps stiffen it up, especially with like loops and stuff. And spring pull system on the elevator, so if you get nice close there, it's got a spring and it's just a bit of string pulling on that. And all my control horns are made out of fiberglass, and I actually built that myself. I got layers of fiberglass and then sandwiched it with resin, and that gives a nice stiff material for you to use. Alright, so I did make a couple of mistakes on here. I know that. The aerofoil is a flat bottom aerofoil. I should have used a slightly concave aerofoil, but that's just minor issues. It makes it tip stall a little bit, so that's why I added these cards. It kind of stops the air from rushing out underneath and tip stalling the aircraft. So right now it flies pretty good, and inside we have a little fly sky receiver, 2-cell battery and a BEC down the corner, and that gives plenty of power to my servos and everything, as there is only 2. And there's not much else to say except to throw it off the cliff.
Nice!
Goes quick. Alright, so if you want to look at some more technical stuff, you might have seen some DLG throws there. This plane really isn't for that. It doesn't even have a peg, and I'm a lefty, typically it's on that side. But you'd notice that the rudder is really small for a DLG throw. So it's actually quite surprising to see such a little rudder and such a short boom still able to be DLG thrown, which is quite interesting. And usually you see like the perfect DLGs, carbon fiber. You don't really need that to have some fun out on the slope or on the grassy plain. So yeah, if you look under here, this aerofoil is perfectly flat. Now you might think, ooh yeah, that's nice, but actually this is terrible for what I needed it for. I didn't notice this before, but I should have built some concave into it, like a bit more like this. I should have built that into it, because that makes it a lot more stable and a lot more lift in high angle winds, which is kind of what I wanted it for. But for the next build I'll have that. For this it works okay, especially with these little canard wingtip things on it. That helps a lot. As you notice, you didn't see a tip stall. Typically it'd tip stall a lot more than it did. And that's thanks to these again. So yeah, the aerofoil is a big part of choosing an aerofoil is a big part of building planes. And I've done a lot of research now, and I didn't do it before when I built this. So hopefully next plane will be even better.